would you look at this jewelry we have here? So we got the head back from Head Games. So we are ready to go full bore of building the manifold and getting this thing together. Okay, this was kind of the last piece of the puzzle I was waiting for. And man, guys, look at this thing. It just looks amazing. I can't say enough about the guys over at Head Games. Dave, Amy, Tiffany, they are amazing. Okay, the head, you know, it took a little time to get this going, but their communication was amazing. Okay, they were emailing me every week, just giving me updates, letting me know what was going on and all that. I highly recommend sending your head to them if you want to get any work done. Their website's really good. You know, check out their website. They have all their packages listed and what it costs and all that. It's all straightforward, upfront pricing. Man, I really can't say enough. I'll go over exactly what I had done. So I had already bought the valves. I already bought the cams. Okay, and so Dave messaged me and he said that it would be better if I got the bronze valve guides to go with the new Ferrera valves, just so that he could size them appropriately. Okay, I probably could have got away with using the stock guides, but I took his advice and went ahead and had him do that. So yeah, I don't know if we get a, I'm just gonna find my flashlight so you can see. I don't know if this is gonna focus or not, but we got the valve guides in there. And also keep in mind, I kind of did my own little DIY port job, like very light, okay? I basically just took off the casting flash and kind of rolled it with some 60 grit. So it still has kind of a rough finish, and it looks like he may have actually gone in and touched it up a little bit too. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, so like I said, what I had done was the valve guides, a valve job, okay? And also, let's flip this around. And also I had him do the springs and the shimless buckets. Okay, so he did the springs, shimless buckets, and got all the valves. I guess the way they do it, they don't do it like, you know, putting different size buckets in. They put the same size buckets in. I may be wrong. Dave, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they put the same size buckets in, and then they tip the valves in order to get the lash they need. Okay, so yeah, they gave me this paper here that kind of gives some instructions on what the lash should be on the intake and exhaust, and how much they took off the head. So you know, like you can go ahead and check the lash when I'm installing the cams. I can double check it. Okay. So yeah, but like I said, man, it's worth it. It's worth the money to send these things to a professional. Could I have done it? Yeah, I could have done it and done my own little DIY, you know, valve job and all that. But it's nice to have peace of mind knowing that this is done right. Okay. So what else? Yeah. Oh, I also had him put a port back here for a water bung. So I'll get an and fitting to go here so that I can, you know, come off the back of the head, and then I'll probably come over on this side to do the electric water pump. So we have the electric water pump here. Probably gonna mount that somewhere over in this area. I'm not sure exactly where, but I'm also considering, I haven't totally decided yet, I may do a smaller radiator, maybe like out of a Civic or something. I never really have problems with this car overheating. And if it's gonna be just a track only car, I can get away with like a radiator that's half the size. So I was thinking if it can be half the size, that's gonna give me a ton of room over here for turbo stuff, okay? Because what we're doing with the turbo is gonna be different than before, okay? So I've started working on this 6-to-1 collector here, and I went ahead and welded all the inside. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it came out pretty good. So this is going to end up being in this area here. or maybe at an angle. I'm not 100% sure where. And then off of that, I ordered a 90-degree elbow, okay, that goes from a V-band to a T4 flange. So then it'll come off of that at a 90 degree, okay? Maybe I'll put a picture of the part here. I've already ordered it, but it's hasn't gotten here yet. And off of the elbow, we can put the wastegate right off of that. So it'll be like right in line with the exhaust flow, so we could get good wastegate priority. Okay, that's very important. That was a big problem I had with the CX racing manifold. The wastegate was in a bad spot, okay? And I just couldn't get the exhaust out of the manifold efficiently. And the boost was creeping. It was all over the place. I couldn't, it was hard to control. So that's gonna be a main priority of mine, is making sure I can control the boost, okay? So also, I have the intake manifold, and I've been working on this just a little bit. I kind of cleaned up the ports a little bit. I didn't port it, okay? I just cleaned it up because this manifold here, this is the SPA, okay, cast manifold. I've heard really good things about it, and there are some people that are going pretty fast with these manifolds, and it's pretty reasonably priced, okay? It's about about a third of the price of like a billet manifold, like a Hypertune or the SMS manifold. It's about a third of the price. So, you know, this being a semi-budget build, I went with this manifold, okay? Single injector. I did have to kind of notch this out because all they do is leave it really rough opening. I wish I would have showed it before, but this little radius here I put, it wasn't to port it. It was to basically make it so that the injector doesn't hit the edge of the manifold before it goes into the cylinder. Okay, so I just basically clearanced it in order for the injector pattern, the spray pattern, to not clip the edges here. Okay, so this manifold is huge. Okay, I mean, look, I can stick my whole arm in here, all the way up to my elbow there. I mean, it's massive. So with this, we're going to have to, I got an 80mm AccuFab throttle body, but the thing is, it's not really gonna fit right. I'm gonna have to make an adapter. The holes line up, okay? The bolt pattern lines up, and it has an O-ring to seal it, but it doesn't quite, like, the hole is way too big, okay? So I'm gonna make an adapter that basically slips in between these two, and it's actually gonna work out pretty good because that's where I'm going to mount the nitrous nozzle. So I'll make a little adapter, an aluminum adapter, and we'll plumb the nitrous line right into the side of it. So yeah, I still got to make that. That shouldn't be too hard. We'll just CNC something. I'll plug it into the computer. We'll CNC that up, and that shouldn't be a big deal. Okay, so we cleaned off the block with a lint-free towel, and kind of used I have some compressed air that I kind of also just blew it to make sure there's nothing on it. Make sure the gasket's really clean. And you want to make sure you don't put this on backwards. There is a specific way it goes. If you tried to flip this around, it would fit, but then the hole back here wouldn't line up. So keep that in mind, okay? So, all right, so we got the head cleaned off really good. And then I like to use some compressed air. It kind of just gets any dust off of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and install it. And then, yeah, we'll start putting the studs in. All right, so we got the head on. Everything went really smooth. It just slid right down. I got 2 bolts started. And the only thing I wanted to note was if you're using this motor plate here, okay, just keep in mind that the head hangs over the motor plate a little bit. Okay, so if you've had your block decked quite a bit, there is a possibility that your head will run into this plate here, which will cause it to, you won't be able to torque it down because you'll be running into the plate. So I checked mine and I still have quite a bit of space. So there, you know, I have at least 30 thousandths of space. So we should be okay. As long as after I torque the head or I start to torque it, I'm gonna double check that just to make sure it's not running into this plate here, because that could definitely cause you some issues if, because you won't be sealing your head gasket. It's gonna definitely keep the head propped up. So, you know, if that was the case where we had to, you know, deck the block even more in the future, that could be an issue right there. And then you'd have to take the plate off and mill that a little bit to give you some more clearance. You know, just something to look out for. So another thing I wanted to point out, and I know Dave emphasizes this a lot in his videos, is the clearancing he does for the cam, okay? It's not necessarily because the cam is running into that area on the head. It's more so to make sure it doesn't wipe oil off the lobe, okay? So you want that film of oil to stay on the lobe as it's going over the bucket. And if the tolerance is real tight here, as the cam's passing by, it'll wipe the oil off the lobe and then giving you a drier cam to go over your bucket. So I just kind of wanted to point that out. I know he always emphasizes that, which is a really good point. And a lot of people don't recognize that. And I've watched a ton of videos on people installing 2J heads. And if you look closely, most of them, like guys doing the 272 cams and all that, the BC stuff, none of them clearance that. They're all just stock. Just because it doesn't hit it doesn't mean that it doesn't need to be clearanced. So thought I wanted to point that out. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is the cams. I watched another video, maybe I'll put a link in, but like again, I'm horrible at this. So there's a video out there about when you do your cams, just to keep it safe so you're not running your valve into the piston, you can back this off 30 degrees, okay? Which will drop all the pistons down so that none of them are in interference with the valve train. So if your cams aren't positioned perfect and you're bolting them down, you don't run the risk of running it into your pistons. So, and then, you know, once you get it all set and you get your cams at TDC, then you can bring back your balancer to TDC, and then we can install the timing belt and all that. So pretty straightforward, pretty simple. I mean, it's kind of common sense. You obviously don't want to put the cams down and run the valves into the pistons. So, all right, we're gonna do that next and move on. Ooh, this thing is starting to look like an engine. Okay, so look what I did to this paper. Got grease all over it. So Dave recommends between 6 and 11 thou on the intake, the lash, and 10 to 15 on the exhaust. And I came up with 8 all on the intake and 12 on the exhaust. So it's within spec. So, and I'm pretty sure I've got it timed good. I've gone a few revolutions around, and every time it comes back to right at the top dead center. So I'm pretty sure I'm not off a tooth at all. With these BC cam gears, you can kind of get yourself in reference. I mean, nothing beats doing, you know, like getting a timing pointer and actually degreeing the cam, you know, a degree wheel. Nothing beats that, but you can kind of go off of, they have lines, okay, at the bottom here. And if they all line up, okay, all the way across, if they're close, okay, they don't have to be perfect. And I'll show you why in a sec. Okay, so those lines, you kind of want this to be straight across, and then you know your cam gears are top dead center. Okay, so the reason I say close is because if you look, I can pretty much go backwards. Let's see, almost 8 degrees, and the gears haven't moved. So there's a lot of like lash in the belt itself. See, the belt is loose here, And then when I go forward on the crank, back to top dead center, okay, this tightens up, but the gears still haven't moved. So you're gonna have that lash. And now I can kind of see why some people add the extra tensioner here, you know, right up against the mid plate or the motor plate, and to kind of tighten that up a little bit more to really eliminate any kind of, you know, differences in your cam timing at different RPMs. So, I mean, I was fighting with it a little bit because of the lash. I thought it wasn't right, but the more I did it, I'm like, okay, the differences I'm getting is the tension on the belt. So, but everything's set up now. Yeah, everything spins freely, nice and smooth. Cams are in. These are all torqued to 15 foot-pounds. Got a little silicone on the edges here of the #1 cap. And yeah. So that's probably gonna do it for this video because I know it's getting kind of long. So the next video, we'll move on from here. Like I said, we got to start working on this manifold. So I'll bolt that up and we're going to get the turbo in a place where we want it. And then we can kind of come off of that with some supports, you know, some tacked on supports so that I know I can take it off and then start building the manifold. Okay. And then the same thing on this side, we can bolt the intake on and then kind of get an idea of where our intercooler piping is going to go and all that. But yeah, I'm happy the way it's looking. So, but anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. I will check y'all later.